Hey guys, Guido coming at you with a quick tip. I had this game happen in the last day or two. I'm top tier here on Ghost Town. I got into this hold down position, and the way the guy played it on the other side, pretty new player, obviously didn't have a good grasp of exactly what's going on right here, and it got me to thinking about hold down and some of the some of the some of the trips and ticks. I have trips and ticks for you guys on here, all right? Too much coffee, perhaps. This is a pretty common hold down spot. It's on Ghost Town, Himmelsdorf. We have some rubble right here. The other side has a similar situation as well, but there's a couple things to think about when you're going hold down in these kinds of positions and talking about weak spots. So the Carnarvon AX does have a small hatch. I want to show you what I'm going to do to him right here, and this is just one example of how he didn't really have a great idea. Notice I'm pretty far back, and I do not have my hatch, which I actually have a pretty decently sized one, poking out around this corner. So watch what happens right here. Now he's going to think he's probably in pretty good shape right here, and I'm unable to hit him. But as he exposes that, I'm going to go ahead and just put a shot right into the hatch. So be very careful. On that side and this side, you need to be behind the edge of the building right here, just to make sure somebody doesn't pick a little shot at your hatch. All right, so let's move on. So a little while later, I'm going to poke back out, and I find the Carnarvon, not the AX, but the other guy around the corner right there. And this is not what you want to do. Notice that when I highlight the side of his hole right here, he's come around the corner and he's uncovered his hole. So this is no longer, well, it's hold down, but not nearly as much as you would like to be, which means he needs to shift a little more straight on, or maybe not come around. See where the gun is? The gun should be right about there. That's all that should be around the corner, just enough for him to take a shot and not expose that much of his tank. He's going to allow me to get a shot right there. Now I eat one in back, which is probably, yep, in my turret, so not a lot you can do about that. Face of the turret is shot in there. So watch out for that little move as well. When you're trying to go hold down, try to square up the hole a little bit more with the cover as opposed to stick it out around the corner. I don't know if that's really helping, probably not. But you saw it there anyway, that he just came too far forward and his gun was too far past his cover, so that he exposed a lot more of his tank than he wanted to. So a little while later, he's doing the same thing. I'm going to actually do a little better job myself coming around this corner and not exposing as much of my tank as I did the first time. Unfortunately, then I put a shot a little bit too high and don't get a penetration on there on the angle. A little while later, he kind of does the same thing as Buddy does right there, and he doesn't move. I get a ricochet. Just watch for that when people come around. You see them aiming in, staring right at your turret, and you even think some of your turret is above that cover. At least start to move to make that shot more difficult, or back out to where you put the side of the big building in the way so that he doesn't even get a shot on your turret like that. So these are all small tips. And each different hold down position is a little bit different in this game. So he's gonna sit right here again. And I notice he's just not really kind of paying attention to what's going on. Or this guy, I think in particular, was brand new to the game, so he's learning some hard lessons right here. That was actually better. I'm gonna show that to you here as a last example. He's actually in a better position right here as we come around. We'll take this shot again that hurts him. There we go. Now notice I'm going to back out. Notice how far I back out. I don't even give him a shot, right? I don't even want him to have a shot at any hatches or pieces of my turret. I'm on a reload. There's simply no reason. You can get in there and bait a little bit to try to get them to shoot. That will then allow you to pull out and get aimed in. But this is a relatively long reload, and the Carnarvon and the AX shoot so fast that you got to be careful with that kind of maneuver here. So I'm just going to kind of turtle up here, and let's take a look again at how that looks for him. He's actually in a really much better position. Less of his turrets around the corner, and he's turned his hole a little bit further onto me, so I'm really only seeing the upper hole right here, so he's not going to take any damage from that. So that was actually a better move from him right there. So some things to think about when you're going hold down. There's back slope hold down, there's hold down with rubble. There's lots of ways to hide the hole in this game. Really, it's the lower plate for the most part, but you do have to pay attention to the top of the turret. Depends on the tank, depends on the weak spots, all those good things. Timing matters on when you pull out, but be very careful in this game about allowing people to have easy shots on weak points that you may not know, right? Their hatch was sticking up above that piece of metal right there, and I don't think either one of those guys had a good idea that that was going on. Maybe the AX did a little bit more because he actually moved out of there once I hit him once, but the other guy kind of let me get a couple in there. So there you go, guys. That's the quick tip for today, some ins and outs of hold down in World of Tanks.